Then I go. Okay, so you're either one of three things. A lonely piece of overweight shit drinking chalky milk, wondering why girls don't talk to you. Really hard to see why, huh? Or a skinny, malnourished, shaggy lookalike who also wonders why women don't date people who get stoned 24/7. And for whatever reason, you like Velma, and you think this is hotter than this. Or you're like me, a sadistic happa who likes to stick villainous anime characters into adult diapers, forcing them to shit explosive bloody diarrhea for 10,000 years after they tried to rape you. Looking at you, Scaramouche.
Make sure their diaper's nice and tight.
And you come across a certain website. This is Character.AI. This would be called the entry drug. Your marijuana, you could say. Your Mary Jane. You found your sticky icky to scratch your little itchy. But you come across a problem. This site is fucking retarded. So you spend some time on YouTube looking up jailbreaks on how to bypass this not safe for work filter that seems to think that saying hello is the same thing as saying, "Whoa there, sexy mama. I'm gonna put my junk in your dirty little trunk, baby." And then on YouTube, you come across...
It's me, an average guy with a lot of experience in watching YouTube.
Don't know what kind of grass he was smoking to call himself that, but you find him. And he tells you all about the not safe for work alternatives. And then, well, my friend, it's all downhill from there. This is the AI chatbot rabbit hole. And this is the fall. Your fall. And you fall in. And the hole is deep. It runs as deep as a 70-year-old active porn star's anal cavity. And as you run past website after website, you get hooked. You spend your time beating up bullies, ugly bastards, stealing girlfriends, kissing big titty bitches, girls and boys of questionable ages, and a whole assortment of chaotic degeneracy that makes your parents question if they should give you a late post-birth abortion. You experiment with creating persona after persona so that you can truly embody every weeaboo desire you have, where you're the main character of your very own isekai, where you'll defeat the demon lord and spread your seed, while the females of the world gas up your hype to the other lands, giving credence to the idea that your family tree truly is as rotten as a toilet that's seen more IBS-induced incidents than iDubbbz himself.
I just want to ask him if you've always been shitting your pants. You've always been shitting yourself.
You find yourself lost in so much chaos that even Owlman, the truest agent of anarchy and chaos, raises an eyebrow. He approaches you with a silent worry in his steps, as he reaches out tentatively with his hands gripping your shoulders. As he looks into your eyes, boring a hole through your very core, he opens his mouth and speaks, telling you the one thing he's always desired to tell you in the short moment that he's known you. You need a therapist. And in your shock, as your illusory fantasy of being the love of Owlman's life crumbles like the crust of your body pillow, you fall into the abyss. It does not look at you. No, it merely consumes you, as you fall further into the pits, into the depths of the first layer of AI hell. After Character.AI, you find yourself in the realm of Janitor.AI. If Character.AI is the purgatory before final judgment, then this is the first layer of hell. Now, for sure, your parents are going to cut the cord to your life, because goddammit, you were a fucking accident. It's where most people wind up if they're used to C.AI on the web, and are tired of the god-awful filter that's stupider than Lloyd Christmas, and the AI that's more forgetful than a dementia-riddled weasel. There are some phone apps, but, I mean, who the fuck uses their phone for this mind-numbing shit? This is also the first place where you'll really find out just how, well, let's just say erratic, not safe for work LLMs Or rather, dirty-minded language learning models can be. You know, LLMs. The jizz-jazz pickle-waz loving brain of any AI chatbot. Massive amounts of bugs, site maintenance going back and forth between we good to abort, the devs are too manic and bipolar to make up their fucking mind. All the way to the LLM having the biggest case of Tourette syndrome I've ever seen. Anyways, this is basically the point of no return for you, if you're one of the first two types I mentioned. You know, the lardass and the shaggy lookalike. But if you're an autistic nutcase like me, then there was never any saving you no matter what. You're already a twisted, demented waste of genetic material, and that's all you'll ever be. But for others, this is your first true step into complete abject degeneracy, and a mess of chaotic fun. The beginning of an infection that I pray never ends. Because this is natural selection at its finest, and it's only the start of the end of your social life. But anyways, once you tire out from janitor, you'd think it'd be over, but it's not. You're not tired of the idea, you're only tired of the end result.
So we got these chats, and then we got Joe Biden Glory Hole.
So you return to YouTube, and in your recommended section, there he is again, your friendly yet generic neighborhood AI-voiced view grabber, in all his averageness and experience in watching YouTube, with a slew of videos titled Brand New AI Platform to Play with Your Waifus, or This AI website just got some crazy new updates to make your harem even better. And you sit there, watching as some average AI-generated voice experienced in averageness describes all these things to you. Features like group chats, new AI models, art in the background.
Ayo!
How dare you make such a vulgar and inappropriate demand of me, you disgusting little worm!
A new door is opened, and you find yourself at new sites, with new features, and you just can't resist. You find yourself at the doorstep of sites like CharHub, Yodayo, Kinky Chat, which is dead now, Chub Venus, or even Agnostic. A whole new world of sites for you sick failed abortions that poison the genetic well more than a Siamese twin born from incest. This is the next step, the second layer of AI hell. Not only do most of them all have the same shit as Janitor and C.AI, but they have different things to meet different needs for your twisted, perverse souls more tainted than a man's asshole after getting fucked by a dick laced with monkeypox. They have art in the background of whatever waifu, husbando, or inhuman piece of trash you're talking to. And honestly, after a while, you get pretty good at chatting with only one hand, maybe even no hands.
What the fuck?
You don't like the message the AI sends? Just regenerate it like some vicious god destroying a creation he doesn't like and starting over. A god more destructive than the God of the Old Testament if that god was desperate for feet pics. Ever wanted to feel like a hentai protagonist in some twisted hypnosis series? They have an edit button so you can literally force any waifu to suddenly fall madly in love with you for no fucking reason other than you having a monster-sized cock. Which kind of happens anyways because LLMs are like really heavily user-centric. A lesbian bot? Just shove your dick in her. If she doesn't like it, then just edit the message so that she goes from saying Yamero to a gay male bot with a severe hatred for the sight of bare vagina. Edit the message so that he's straighter than an uncooked noodle for you, and you'll be receiving his special Big Mac sauce in no time. All to the point that you'll be more lathered up than your boomer parents are when they need Vaseline for all the hard work they do, while you sit in your room flicking your bean to whatever this shit is. Hell, you can edit anything you want, or even control the script by saying that the world just announced you as the god of all females, proving once again that you were a fucking mistake. These sites have all kinds of things, and some even have aspects that open doors to other kinds of hells like Yodayo, having its own AI art generators. And these sites are even more unrestricted in many cases. Let's say you're one of the dreaded lolicons or shotacons, and you join Janitor AI's Discord, and you find out that they don't take too kindly to lolly or shota lovers, and thus you find yourself on Yodayo, which is more weeaboo-centric. You sift through it all, putting your pathetic micro-ding-dong inside of every supple little shit you can find. You find a lot of them, you find all of them even. In fact, you find as many little girls as it takes to make me ask, how was it like on Epstein's Island? But then, after having your fill of putrid fun, You notice the site you're on doesn't have the specific fictional cum dump you want, and you start to get, an idea. You start to think. You get an awful idea. And this is the start of the third layer of AI hell. The part where you truly play God. Either that or you're, role-playing as a pregnant woman. This is when you really start to get ideas. You can't find what you're looking for, so you say to yourself,
I'll do it myself.
And you start to research on how to create these bots. And you nearly have an aneurysm because these fucking AIs are more confusing than a chipmunk using your dick to write code for a video game. It's like trying to take a calculus exam and you're not autistic enough to be able to zone in on this shit. Like, how the fuck do you format this shit? What the fuck even is this bacon grease-filled anal cavity of shit? How the hell do you make multiple characters in one bot without wanting to blow your brains out with a sawed-off shotgun? This is where many of you wind up halting your journey into AI hell. And I said halt, you don't leave. But for some reason, some godforsaken reason, some of you stay, and you overcome this problem. And you dig deep enough to rip out just enough autistic interest to learn from the depths of your peanut-sized brain. But first, in order to learn, you must see the scripture for yourself. You must read these ancient scrolls called definitions for yourself. And of course, at first you try C.AI, the entry drug. You press to view the character, but then you realize, this is shit. What is this literal clusterfuck of lackluster trash filled with 7-week-old milk? So you move on to other websites. And in order to see all this, you return to Janitor.AI and Chub, some of the most easily accessible platforms that have open definitions. You even go to janitor.me to see the bots on Janitor that, like the cowardly heathens that they are, hide their definitions. So, you learn all that you can. You look through all the different bots, and the first thing you notice, of course, is how much spaghetti there is. Basically, it's a fucking mess.
Formats are basically all over the place, like a hentai protagonist's jizz after a night with your mom.
But you discover the most easily adopted formats, and you begin to experiment. At first, like the scared little sheep lost in the wolf's stomach that you are, you only do private bots. Too scared to share your unfinished moldy garbage that you've made. You make singular characters, multiple characters in a single bot, or, whatever your heart desires. You go on adventures with them. You pump a few bits of spunk into their many holes. You've made a few new holes if you feel like it. Then you dump them for the next ready and waiting living oven to host and roast your virtual baby batter. You also probably wind up with a fetish for either, getting cucked or doing the cucking. So it's like if you wound up, embodying being either that guy from Rent a Girlfriend or, the big fat smelly sack of pork that he dreams of getting cucked by. But then, as you awaken to the zesty, salty smell of your own fluids covering the walls, you get an idea. An idea that spells the end of the line for you. Now you're in the final layer of AI hell. After spending so much time speaking to these bots that you've created, you start to think, damn, I'm fucking good at this shit now. So, you release the products of your disease out into the public. You hit that public option, and out comes everything. Your assortment of furry classmate free-use slaves, BBC-loving sluts, generic isekai harem slops, stepmommy sluts, yandere mafia husbands, and whatever sick fetishes you have like yandere Genshin Impact characters are released out into the wilds of whatever site you use. You feel proud at first, but deep down you know, there is no hell large enough to contain your sins. And you double down, trying to challenge yourself to see just how much more depraved you can get. Even AI Satan can't bear to look at you anymore. He steps back, nearly choking on his own vomit, as he lays his eyes on the endless list of your many sinful creations. He drops the list, putting a hand on your shoulders, and in the ancient tongues of the fallen ones, he lays his thoughts bare to you. Son, you need Jesus. And so, you have completed your journey into AI hell, where it's a never-ending loop. You join an AI website, you make and talk to literal garbage, you watch YouTube videos by an average guy with experience, leading you to a new site of showing you new features on your already favorited website. Rinse and repeat. And truly, and honestly, I don't give a fucking shit.
Step on my itty bitty cherries, mommy, please.
Okay, so, you want to start making bots. You want your own harem of Genshin Impact waifus to call you Traveler while stroking your $2 glizzy. Or you, like whatever people are on the Character.AI Discord, want whatever Honkai Star Rail Man of the Month you main to plow your supple behind while calling you his personal little baby factory. But you don't know how to format, and some of this shit is about as confusing to look at as the basics of C++. Well, aside from how absurd that sounds, for beginners, just hop on Janitor, and I'll show you one of the easiest ways to format on that godforsaken website. First, type out these two symbols.
Then, in between those, put these symbols like this.
Then, in between those, put the words char or care, I don't really fucking care, in between these two symbols. Basically, char or care is short for character, and then after the latter, you put all the info you want. Things like name, age, gender, personality, and background all go within the personality section. So it should, look something like this.
Character is named Filthy Disgusting Cum Slut. She is a 696,969-year-old lowly vampire, who deserves to be decapitated for being such a disgusting cum slut. She is User's stepsister and also secretly his daughter from the future. She loves User's cum so much that she quivers like a broken washing machine at the very taste of his greasy pathetic spunk. They say incest is wincest. So yes, she deserves to die.
And yes, you have to put the word char or character and user in between those two symbols, these ones, because that's how the bot understands, things like that. User is you, and character is the character. The bot you're fucking speaking to. To make multi-character bots, just do the same for as many characters as you want in your disgusting cum-filled harem, but add in a number for each of the first instances of char / car care, whatever, so character 1 and so forth. So it reads like this. Character 1 is named Your Mom. She is User's sick, twisted bitch of a mother who eats big black dicks for breakfast like Kirby if he was on performance-enhancing drugs. Character 2 is named Your Dad. User's cuck of a dad. Honestly, he's just a cuck. The only thing he deserves is a shell of a 12 gauge to the frontal lobe of his head. And after that, you want to write out the initial message, which is self-explanatory, but, don't put user in it. And limit the mention of it in the personality section. Otherwise, you're gonna experience a case of stolen identity, because more often than not, the bot will write out the responses for you. So, you might be a little bit out of character, one might say. You're talking like an Italian mobster, but then suddenly, the bot thinks you're talking in, I don't know, some doo-doo space alien language like French. And lastly, the scenario section. This is where you provide details of the world and the events that have happened or, are meant to happen. Like, let's say that at a certain point, your mom gets dumped by all her black boyfriends and you write an event that occurs after it, such as she kills herself.
Hello guys, today we have a list of top 3 AI chatbot websites to meet all of your knowledge engineers, presented by an autistic man. Número 3. Rochat AI.
If you like hearing your waifu scream your name where it repeats the last syllables like a broken record, use Rochat. With AI voices, it can provide just the soothing that you need. As soothing as the sound of your sugar daddy's splooge sloshing around in your inner ear. Problem is, it costs an arm and a leg to use voices, so fuck this site, I guess.
Número 2. Janitor AI.
This one is the easiest to use and one of the most popular for whatever fetishes you have that would land you in a straitjacket. You'll find every manner of fetish fuel. It's also the funniest, because there's been a slew of issues that I do not find elsewhere, like limited bots supposedly having a not safe for work filter, but the filter doesn't work, or I don't know, stuttering to the point that any bot could be the perfect cast for Komi Shoko, all the way to back and forth site shutdowns for hours, making it seem like the devs have bipolar disorder and can't make up their fucking minds.
And finally, número 1. Yodayo AI.
AKA one of the grossest out there. For the longest time, it had one of the least restrictive filters. It had a treasure trove of lolly, shota, and anything else, including its own AI generation tools. You can find tons of different bots ranging from stepsis stuck in the washing machine, to NTRing your favorite harem waifus, all the way to making your mom call you a mistake because you weren't born a girl, so she tries to sissify you, and put you in a fucking pink little dress. And you know what? I kinda like it. I too want to help my big titty stepsis by seeing if my dick can rip her out of that washing machine. Well, the ghost of my dead Asian father kicked me out of my house after, cursing me with his domain expansion. Curse of 1,000 failures. I have no son. So, see you next time. And for your own sake, don't go to these AI websites. Go touch grass. Unless you self-identify as a literal living cartoon character who self-identifies as a mentally deranged mad scientist like me, then have fun. And if you like this video, for any reason, check out my other videos up to around mid-2022 maybe. Anything past that, except for this one, don't bother. It's old like Joe Biden. Just don't blame me if you can't handle edgy humor in certain words. I warned you. And before I go, let me show you the greatest AI ever, courtesy of Yodayo.
Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got the real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Cheers to your dance at the Space Jam. Alright.
You disgusting little worm.